Welcome guys to another garbage video. Oh, what is this? Commentary? Unbelievable. Disgusting, I know. Relax. Alright, there's two main reasons why I'm commentating over this Minecraft video. It's mainly because it's literally just me gathering resources, raiding end cities, and draining the monument, which isn't the most interesting thing to watch. So I felt like it didn't really deserve music, because finding decent music nowadays is damn near impossible. Everything you find is just people screeching into a microphone. It's garbage. So next video will have music, but this one we're just gonna be talking about whatever I want. Deal with it. So, as most of you know, school has been out for like 2 months now, and it's not terrible. I mean, I think I'm doing pretty well, other than the fact that I have a 45 in one of my classes. But so, like a month before school started, during summer vacation, one of my friends was like, "Oh my God, they released our schedules. Go look. Let's compare it. Let's compare schedules. See if we have any teachers together." So I go online, I look at my schedule, and the first class is Spanish 3, and I was like, "Why?" I literally asked myself out loud, why? Because last year I almost failed Spanish, but I persevered because Spanish 2 was required where I live. So I finished my 2 years of world language, so then they just threw me in Spanish 3, and I'm sitting there like, but why? Whose idea was this? I was like, no big deal, I'll just email the counselor and request a schedule change. So I do, and she's like, oh yeah, just go fill out this Google form, which I do. And this was like 2 weeks before school actually started, so there was plenty of time to review my thing. But she did tell me that there are very limited reasons as to why I should switch classes, and I just told her, well, I might fail, and this might fuck my GPA over, so, you know. So, I guess the whole entire school just decided to fill out a form because it's been 2 months and she still hasn't gotten back to me. She didn't even send an email saying like, "Oh, yeah, your form was rejected. You're not switching. Deal with it, nerd." She just ghosted me, man. So I'm sitting here like, all right, she's just bending me over and raw dogging me out of my GPA. So this is fun. I'm not the greatest when it comes to Spanish. I'm actually learning Chinese right now because I'm Asian, so I'm like legally obligated to know Chinese. And learning two languages isn't exactly the easiest thing to do. I mean, I'm sure some people can pull it off, but you know, when the two languages have like no correlation at all, no similarities whatsoever, it's not exactly easy to do. But it's fine because I've already got this calculated. I'm a tactical genius because it's not I'm legally forced by the law to show up to class, but I'm not legally forced to like do the work. So I could just slack off, and since it's not a required class, I could just fail it and it really would not matter. Unless it's a completer and I'm completely wrong and I'm just like fucking my own life over, but until that happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I was really hoping I could get switched into like a digital art class. I don't even know if they offer that, but if they didn't, then literally any art class I would have taken, because I'm actually like into art. I draw. It's not just doodles. I like sit down and actually draw from time to time, and it's one thing I would like to get better at doing. But no, I'm now stuck with learning a language that I really don't even care about. I just really wanted to vent about the fact that the counselor has just not gotten back to me. So yeah, we're gonna be moving on. We're gonna be talking about my middle school stories, because there's just a myriad of to talk about. Oh my God, you want to shit on people telling stories on YouTube and then proceed to tell stories yourself? Yeah, well, there's one very small difference between my stories and their stories, and it's the fact that mine aren't lies. So back in 7th grade, we had this one vice principal. We're going to call her Miss E for simplicity's sake. So one day, we're at lunch, and I'm like sitting in the back with my friends because we're losers. And there was this one kid at the table in front of me who was like, he looks around, he like turns around, looks at me, and he was like, "Yo, you gonna drink your chocolate milk?" And I'm like, "No. Do you want it?" And he was like, "Yeah, toss it." And keep in mind, there's like 6 feet of space in between each table, so it was like I barely tossed it. He catches it, no problem, and then we go back to doing our own thing. 2 seconds later, Miss E comes storming over and just starts like interrogating me like I just committed a felony. She's like, "Why'd you toss the chocolate milk? You couldn't get up and walk around?" And I'm like, "But like no one got hurt. It's just chocolate milk." And then she like tells me to go sit at this isolated desk facing the wall. So I'm just sitting like, what? Who thought this was a good punishment? I'm not learning anything from this. You're just trying to embarrass me, which she didn't, because I was like, I don't care. It's just chocolate milk, man. I had to do that for 2 days as well, just for simply handing or tossing my chocolate milk to a kid. So, that was fun times. So we had this system for getting lunch that the vice principal and principal calls each table up at a time, so we're not like mauling each other over food. So one day she just completely forgets to call our table. So by the time like the bell rings, everyone else is getting up to go back to our classes. They look over at our table and we're still sitting down. They're like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "You forgot to call us. What do you mean?" And then it hits them like 2 seconds later. It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you guys can go now." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? How do you forget to call up a whole table of kids?" There's like 12 tables total in that lunchroom, and there's 3 of them, so I don't think it's too hard to keep track of, but I guess it just completely slipped their mind. So like we walk in, the lunch ladies had to like speed run making burgers, so that was fun. Good times. So back in 7th grade, I never got an actual class to like draw, or like an art class. I really wanted to take art, but they were like, "Nah, you're an honor student, denied, happiness is non-existent here." So I never got to take art. There was only one chance I got to take art, and that was the art club. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. My friend was like, "Hey, you like to draw, right? You should join art club." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I took the form, I filled it out. My mom agreed to pick me up every Wednesday after school. So I show up the first day, and it's pretty standard. There was only one time, I think, that I ever got to like improve my drawing skills, and that was like when we were doing police sketches for celebrities or something. So about halfway through the year, during one of our art club sessions, these 2 girls were sitting at our table, and I guess some conflict broke out between my friends and her, and they started like insulting each other. Keep in mind we were like 12 at the time, so it's not like we were cussing each other out, but I get roped into this because she grabbed my iPad for some reason when I wasn't even doing anything. I was just drawing anime like every degenerate 12-year-old. So she gets a hold of my iPad and starts changing all the folder names to "Why am I in school?" and "I'm stupid" and shit like that. Childish insults overall. And then, I had to say a few things because I'm like, "It's my iPad. What are you doing? Come on." And then my friends were insulting her on how she kept rolling her eyes. And then in the end, she starts crying. And the teachers gotta come over and calm things down. Like, "Shit, man, stop beating her up. Jesus, she's crying. You've already killed her. Calm down." So then, we get a call home, me and my friends specifically. They didn't. At least I don't think they did. But, we got a strong talking to because, she cried in the end. Moral of the story: if a girl cries in any argument, it's over from there, man. The other party is instantly wrong. It doesn't matter what your story is. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If a girl cries, it's over. You're instantly done. Take notes. I always had the impression the art teacher hated my friends and I because there was this one thing that he was responsible for choosing, and that was the kids who would do web next year. For those of you wondering, web is basically a waste of time, if you wanted to know. Web leaders, being a web leader is basically, you got to lead 6th graders and all that nonsense, bullshit, mumbo jumbo. So my friends came up to me one day and they were like, "Hey, you should fill out a form. You should do web because we're doing it next year. So the 3 of us could do it." God, I stutter a lot. Jesus Christ, don't stop bullying me. But the 3 of us could do it next year. So I was like, "Oh, okay, why not?" So I got a form. I filled it out. We had to get like 3 teachers to recommend us, and then we had to write an essay talking about why we should do web, like why they should pick us. So I gave the most half-assed attempt at writing the essay. My friends gave like actual genuine attempts because they wanted to get in, but I didn't. I did it as like a complete joke, and then they picked me somehow. And not my friends. like a few weeks later, the teacher was like, "All right, guys, we're gonna announce the people who got into web. There's a sheet of paper outside my room. Go look at it, and those have the names of the people who got in." So we all go to look at it, and my name is the only one on there out of my friend group. And I was like, "What is this? This might have been some vital mistake. They might have gotten the people who didn't get picked mixed up." So one day I go to the web teacher, or the art teacher, and I ask him, "Yo, how did I get in but my friends didn't?" And he says, "I'm not allowed to give out that information. If your friends want to know, they're going to have to ask me directly." And I'm like, "What do you mean you can't tell me? This is not nuclear launch codes. This isn't vital information I can use to hack the Pentagon. I just want to know how I got in but my friends didn't." And the fact that he wouldn't tell me just makes me believe that he was full of shit, and he just really hated me and my friends and I. Proper English. So I don't know what went on in that department. I also, like, 99% of the web leaders were also girls, and the people who got to pick the web leaders, like help them pick it, were also all girls, and most of them held grudges against us. So I strongly think that there's a bit of bias in that choice, but, you know, who cares? It's not like I wasted 3 days of my summer vacation to attend these dumbass web meetings. I'm still pissed off about it. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. If you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe. If you dislike, and then leave. And yeah.